What's up, you guys? This is Nick from UCARS. We are back in my garage. It's been a long time since I posted anything. I got Shu in the background. Hey! I got Merla hiding somewhere back yonder. We got Shu's car up on jack stands because we are doing modifications to it. We are doing his catch cans today, and we're also doing his breather plate. We just removed everything. So we have his factory breather plate right here. So this is what the factory one looks like. It's got the single baffle. You got that one-way valve right there, which routes into the PCV system there. But the reason why you change it is because down here, you can't really, oh, there you go. There you go, camera. Down here, you see how there's oil that's catching in there? Well, this factory breather plate doesn't really do a good job of, you know, keeping the oil out. As you see, there's a little notch there, and there's also gaps on either side for this to go through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be replacing his breather plate for the factory, or his factory breather plate for the Radium breather plate, which is much more beefier. It's billet aluminum, and oh, very nice. And it comes with two little plates that will attach here and here. So these are the new plates. So as you see, there are two. They go here and here, just like that. So you see you have 2 points where oil cannot go up into your, you know, breather plate or into the catch cans. This does a really good job by itself, but we're going to be installing catch cans because later on Shu may possibly go bigger turbo. Anytime you go bigger turbo, you want to have a catch can system because there's going to be a lot more boost that's going to be going through the system. So a lot more boost means a lot more pressure in the crankcase, and a lot more pressure in the crankcase means a lot of blow-by. And a lot of blow-by with a bigger turbo is not a good thing. So right now I'm trying to remove the, since we're using the plate, the Radium breather plate, as you see, the OEM one has the PCV on the right hand side, so you want to do the same thing for the Radium breather plate. Put the blanking side on the left hand side. Install your breather baffles. Each of them have 3 4mm Allen keys. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so total 6. Here's the OEM gasket that, here's the OEM gasket that came off of the factory breather plate. And you're just gonna remove it and you're gonna place it in there. So I'm gonna put it in there after so I can keep it as clean as possible. And right now, what I have to do is I have to remove this clip piece off so that way I can use it with the new hose that it comes with. So it's going to go on just like this, and this is going to hook on to the new connector that hooks up to the back of the intake manifold, which is over there hiding. And after that, this breather plate can go back in, and then we're going to work on putting the catch cans on, which is what I'm going to show you guys after. So right now I'm just going to go heat this up slowly, and I'm wearing gloves because it does get hot, very hot. So
safety first.
Yep. Alright guys, so I heated it up just enough and I literally just pulled it off. It was like just a few seconds after I just cut off the camera. So it was in there and all I did is,
y'all ready?
Came off. So now I'm going to grab the hose that was provided in the box while Shu is kind of hammering away over there. So excuse the noises that is going on right now, but everybody's working at the moment. So they have clamps that is provided. You have 2 different ones. You have the ones you have to squeeze. There's a little tab that's on there. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera. I'll pull it out later. And you have another one that has actually a screw on the end of it to tighten up the clamp. I believe the one that's tightening up on the clamp goes to this end here on this side. Goes on. And you tighten it up with the hose obviously on it. And then of course this side gets put on in there just like that. And then I'm going to use the other clamp to squeeze that on there. And we should be good to go to install the plate. And I didn't mention it before, and I didn't show it before because I'm pretty sure everybody has shown you how to take off the intake manifold from other people's channels. Whoop, almost dropped the camera, that was really bad. So in here, I got the catch can sitting there. Of course, when you remove the intake manifold, make sure you tape over the intake runner so nothing falls in there. And you also want to tuck a rag or tape over the cold side pipe on this side so that way nothing drops in there. So these are 8mm bolts on the plate. So these are what hold it in there. And there should be 8 of them. It came off. just fine. There are connectors hidden behind so this goes to the throttle body and the intake manifold, and there are other connectors that were actually just pressed on the back of it. All you gotta do is by hand I was able to just pull this off on either side of the intake. So of course you're gonna see the intake manifold like this, just like that, and you have to remove the MAF sensor that's over here. There is a hose on this side. It has a white clip on there. That's a retaining clip right here. I found it easier to pull it off after you get the hose clamp for the cold side disconnected, and I could just go underneath the car and just grab it and just pull it off after you loosen it just right. On the other side, on the backhand side, what they don't tell you and what you don't see is that there's that connector, the one I just showed you that I heated up, is connected back here. All you gotta do is really just squeeze the tabs. You'll feel it. There's like little grooves on it. You grab it, squeeze it, pull it off, comes all the way. And those connectors I showed you that have those two little nubs on it, these two here, are that's what's on the back of this. You just grab it like this, pull it right off. Same thing on the other side. There's two on this side right here. See these two holes? Same thing. Grabbed it, pulled it off. Or actually in this one, in this case, it's actually still stuck there, but that's now gone. But after that, this whole thing can actually just get pulled out, as you see here, and you can just kind of just lay it out on the side, face down. It's fine. So now, what I'm gonna do is work on putting this hose on. I'm gonna grab this hose and I'm gonna put this on here, clamp it all together, and then we'll come right back. Alright, with the OEM gasket attached to it, all you gotta do is align the gasket into the groove, and everything else follows into place, and it's good to go. So it's good to go to install it like this. Alright, so now that we got the breather plate installed, now I started fiddling with the catch can. It's going to be the forward one. So this is the forward bracketry, and this is going to sit down here after. You notice that I had to actually pull the tube off of the factory box, and that is for clearance reasons why. This whole thing actually is going to come out, so the intake tube box is going to come out, so that way we have a lot of room to work with the CCV catch can system back here. So this is the PCV because it's going to the PCV valve, the replacement now. And this side, the backhand side facing towards the engine, will be going to breather plate like this. So it'll feed the oil that does somehow bypass, or if it does bypass, the breather plate will feed through, drain in here, and all the excess gases or air that's in here will filter through the top and come around, and this was what is going to be connected up to your intake manifold on the backhand side, like I showed you guys, where you had to grab that and pull it off. That's about it. So I had to actually, I have a kit of these clamps, because the clamps that are provided do not fit the size of the hose. It does not go over the ribbing that's underneath each of these fittings. So I just used a kit that I bought from O'Reilly's or AutoZone, wherever you want to go to get your the hose clamps so you can fit over it. Forward catch can, I had to remove this portion of the ducting, so this is now out of the way. There is a bolt that comes with it, and there is all the hardware that came with it. But we got this actually from our buddy Justin. That's nobody. He Shu bought this off of That's Nobody when he had his RS, and he provided us with some other hardware that came with the kit. So I'm just getting these finger tight so I can get them started, so that way they don't cross thread. So this hose that's coming off the top is going to go onto the breather plate. I have the clamp here, and then the other hose, this hose here, this long one, is going to go onto the manifold just like that. So once I get this all finished up, we're going to mount it all up, put the intake manifold on, and then we're going to start working it back. Alright, so we got to the hose that's on the back of the intake, just as you see here, it's in pieces right now. Well, what I did was I applied direct heat with the heat gun. It's over there. It helped so much. All you gotta do is just heat it up for at least 30 seconds or so on either side, and then just after you're done, put it on the side, pull it apart. Just as easy as that. I'm dead serious, like, it came off in 30 seconds. So, heat it up for 30 seconds, either on both sides, comes apart. This hose, you don't use it. This is the intake side. This is to your valve cover side. What we're gonna do is we're using a 1/2 inch fuel line, or in this case, it's heater hose. You can use either one. All it's gonna go through there is some oil and it's air. All right, everybody, so we got it all together. Well, in terms of all the hoses and the banjo bolt has a washer on this side, and it goes together on the top, just like that. So both of the hoses are gonna be pointing to the rear because it's gonna have to route close to the firewall. And after you got all that together, so of course you saw me pull apart or have the connections apart. This one, the top one with the connector here, the sensor, this is going to go into the back of the intake. There's a big tube on the back. Pop it on there. This connection here is going to go to your valve cover down here. Same thing, it's got another 1/2 inch connector. Pop that on there. We're going to mount this up and then pop it together, and then we should be good to go. Other than that, what we had to use, or we're going to be mounting it up to, so this hole on the bottom, the 90-degree, is going to your high pressure fuel pump on this side, on the bracketry. See if you want to check it out on this side. So this part of the bracket on the bottom of the 90 is going to go right here. And then the top portion here is going to go onto your high pressure fuel pump on the bracket on the back end. Let me get my hand out there. So it's right here in the back. There's the third bolt. So if we follow this one, let's take a triangle. So from this side, there's another bolt here. It's a 10 mil. Knock it out. And then the top one is going to go back there. So all you got to do is route this back here. Careful of wires so you don't cut them on accident. And it should mount up just like that. All right, so now we got everything back in. Intake box, the intake tube, everything's back in. Got all the connectors all up connected, the valve cover connector and the intake tube connector on the back, and then the hoses are connected up to the catch can, which is now hidden by the intake. You can't really see it. If you want to take a look, it's hidden away right here. So if he wants to go and check or drain your oil out of the cans, you're going to have to actually remove the intake tube up to this port. So tube up to this coupler here, so that way you have full access to the bottom of that catch can, so that we don't, lose it. Over here, it's not too bad. Like over here, I can get this right here. See, I can unscrew it, screw it back on. Even when you do an oil change, like I'm telling anybody, including Shu, who now owns this catch can system, anytime you do an oil change on it, just check it, or check it every so often, probably every week or so, just in case. Just just if you want to, that's just in case. But if anything, yeah, I mean, if you're stock, realistically, every oil change, check it, drain it, you're good. Other than that, that's a full install of the Radium breather plate, the Radium PCV catch can, as well as the CCV catch can. So that's the dual catch can system that you can get off of Radium. And breather plate you can also get off of Radium, or for us, we got it up from CR3 Motorsports. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. This is Nick from UCARS. This is ShoePop23, and we will see you guys later.
And we're out.